We are just surrounded by words these days. Reviews, reports, those endless social media feeds. But how much of it do we really truly understand? Well, today we're going to open up an AI toolkit that doesn't just read text, it actually deciphers it. So let's dive right in. We are absolutely drowning in it, right? Just think about the millions of customer reviews for a single product online, or that constant 24/7 stream of news coming from all over the globe. It's a colossal amount of messy, unstructured data. But here's the thing. Buried in all that noise are the really crucial insights. The real reasons a customer is unhappy, or the key things driving a new market trend. The big question is, how on earth do you find them? And that is where AI comes in. The best way to think about it is like having a specialized crew of experts. We're about to meet 4 of these specialists, and each one can analyze text in its own unique way, turning that complete chaos of words into actual, usable intelligence. All right, first up in our kit is a tool that's all about cutting through the noise. It's called key phrase extraction, and its job is pretty simple but honestly incredibly powerful. It finds the core ideas of any text you give it. So basically, what this tool does is it reads a document and asks, okay, what is this really about? It pinpoints the most important topics and concepts. This gives you an instant summary of the main points, which saves you from having to read every single word, whether that's 1 page or 10,000 pages. So let's give it a whirl. We're going to feed the AI 2 really famous quotes. One is about personal transformation, and the other is about starting a big, long process. So how is it going to boil these down to their absolute essence? And there you have it. Just like that, the AI pulls out the core concepts: change, world, journey, and single step. Now, just imagine for a second this wasn't 2 quotes, but 10,000 customer reviews. You could instantly see the main things people are talking about, like battery life, or screen size, or customer service, all without having to read a single review yourself. Pretty cool. Okay, let's grab our next tool and see how this all builds on each other. Because, knowing what people are talking about is one thing, but knowing how they feel about it, that's a whole other level. And that is the job of sentiment analysis. This tool is kind of like an emotional barometer for text. It reads a document and then classifies the feeling behind the words as positive, negative, or just neutral. For any business out there, this is, and I mean this, revolutionary. It lets you instantly sort angry customer emails from the happy ones or track the public's perception of your brand in real time. So let's start with a really simple test. We'll give the AI the phrase, "good morning." Now, we all know this is a positive thing to say, but the real question isn't just if the machine can figure that out, but how confident it is in its answer. And here's where it gets really interesting. See, the AI doesn't just give a simple positive. It gives a confidence score. It's 89% sure. This level of nuance is absolutely critical when you're analyzing thousands of texts where the feeling might be way more subtle or mixed. All right, our third tool is kind of like a super smart highlighter. It doesn't just read the text. It's actively looking for specific, important pieces of information: the who, the what, the where, and the when. This is called named entity recognition. The really crucial thing to get here is that this tool creates structure out of total chaos. It scans a block of text, pulls out any mention of people, places, dates, or organizations, and then neatly categorizes them for you. It basically turns a messy sentence into a clean, organized little database. Okay, here's our test sentence. Super simple and straightforward. We've got a person, a place, and a day. Let's see if the AI can not only identify all 3, but more importantly, understand what kind of information each one actually is. And boom, this is where you can really see its power. The AI didn't just find the words, it understood their real-world category. Joe is a person, London is a location, and Saturday is a date time. Just think about scanning thousands of legal documents to automatically pull out every single person, company, and date mentioned. That's the power of this tool. So, the tools we've looked at so far are incredibly useful, no doubt. But this last one, this is where things get really fascinating. It moves beyond just identifying things to actually understanding them in their proper context. This is called entity linking. This question right here gets to the heart of a huge challenge in language: ambiguity. The exact same word can have completely different meanings. So how can an AI possibly know if Venus is referring to a planet in our solar system or a figure from Roman mythology? Well, the answer, of course, is context. And we have two sentences here that show this perfectly. In the first one, shining in the sky tells us we're talking about the planet. But in the second one, goddess of beauty clearly points to mythology. A human gets this instantly, but can an AI?
Yes, it absolutely can. And this is the magic trick. The AI doesn't just identify the word Venus, it actually understands the context around it and links to the correct entry in a knowledge base, like Wikipedia. It knows the difference between the planet and the goddess. This isn't just reading words anymore. This is comprehending meaning, and that is a massive, massive leap forward.
So we've just unboxed 4 really powerful tools that can read and comprehend text. Let's do a quick review of our new AI toolkit. So our toolkit lets us find the main ideas with key phrase extraction and then figure out the emotion with sentiment analysis. We can pull out all the key facts like names and dates with entity recognition, and then finally, understand what those facts truly mean in context with entity linking. The most important takeaway here is this. These AI tools give us the power to transform that overwhelming flood of messy, unstructured text into organized and genuinely valuable insights. We can finally start to make sense of all the noise. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've now built machines that can not only read our words, but understand their context and their meaning. So the question is no longer if they can read. It's what massive, complex, and important things should we ask them to read for us next. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.